They probably weren't dangerous, just people with somewhere of their own to go. Sure, probably headed for a meeting of a charitable order, where they'd divide all their possessions among the poor. Nobody in Sanctuary was too busy to prey upon the helpless. Hello and welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I'm your host Liam, aka Himbar, and today we'll be doing a spoiler-free review of David Drake's Dagger. Dagger is a 1988 fantasy novel by David Drake. It is technically the fifth Thieves World novel, but is set before any of the other novels. It's it's a sequel to the short story Goddess, which is in just a Volume 2 anthology from Tales from the Vulgar Unicorn. And that's the only other story I've read by Drake, actually. And it followed Sam Moore Hill, stamped like this does. So you could read this third in Thieves World order, I guess, if you read Thieves World, Tales from the Vulgar Unicorn, and then Dagger, if you really wanted to. I'm reading it fourth as I didn't have a copy until my pal Jerry sent me this one, actually. Sam Moore has many enemies. He's a Sardonian caravan master, though he's also a noble, and his family was impoverished, apparently, after 17 generations of that noble status. He's with his young niece in the Vulgar Unicorn at the start, when he is approached by a stranger. A letter is involved, and so is a dagger, unsurprisingly. It's a very gripping opening, but we quickly head out of Sanctuary. Star is odd and a magically gifted child, and the niece to Sam Moore. Kamwas is far from home and seems to lack streetwise. Plus, he has a small animated puppet companion that only speaks in proverbs. Sam Moore himself curses much and is very rough around the edges. Story has a couple parts. One is in Sanctuary, another hundreds of miles away in a strange and cool landscape of Napata. We also have kind of magical flashbacks in a sense, flashbacks of a different person, not either of our main characters, really. So this is a very strange story. It deals largely with this dagger, of course. It's very parlous. The sorcery and magic in general is very dangerous. And it remains largely unexplained and is euphemized by some adherents. There's also terrible demons and grotesque temples. There's a really cool scene with a temple in this book that just really strikes and stands out in my mind still months after reading it. And there's some cool flashbacks too. It's pretty interesting. It's not officially divided, but it essentially has three parts. The last getting somewhat uncomfortably sexual. They also have some, which is kind of funny also too, but they all have some entertainment value. But the second is my favorite, even if the magical flashbacks aren't the best. They do kind of mess with I feel like the pacing of the story, but they're still entertaining. And they're short as well, for the most part. Definitely a dark fantasy tale. You could call it sword and sorcery. That explains pretty much only as much as needed. You could read it without having read any of the other Thieves World stories, really. So, anyways, Liam from Liam's Lyceum. I'll catch you next time.